Hello, I'm from Telegraph. Mr. Milojevic, what are the positive sides of this defeat and what you're going to congratulate on to your players? Hello everyone at this late hour. I'm gonna I already offered my hand and shook my hand with my team. I said yesterday at the conference what are the disadvantages, and I'm not really that I wasn't really happy with the intent to fight. Today we were at our maximum, and everything we were able to give, we gave. Obviously we played against an opponent that at this moment plays a football. If we had a few years ago the play of Guardiola through the possession, for the first time we had the opportunity to see such a game, and what we could see in their Clásico against Real Madrid, it's a game with high defense, with high intensity. They shortened the field and they play it on 20, 30 meters. And I believe that's something that we did very well in all this preparation for the game this time. I can say I'm really proud of my players because they did it in such a short time for the preparation. I'm very proud of my colleagues because they prepared the game very well. And simply said, it's Barcelona. You've seen their game. I don't know if I could say that something was missing in their play. We played as much as Barcelona let us. We had a small problem. We weren't expecting it. I was expecting Radonjic for 15 or 20 minutes more to use his speed exactly because of the games such as this. We knew that we had Silos, and I think that Silos played the best game since he came to Red Star. And I think that we are going to see more from Silos because of his speed. And we were hoping that through possession, we're going to sacrifice and we're going to try to play the midfield, even knowing that we're risking it to get the open pass and attack them. But I can't say anything. Obviously, I mean, I talked a lot to my players. We talked many times. This is the first time we are seeing such an intense game. And with the players like this, you need to play the last line. Our two center fielders have to play one-on-one. They're attacking us, and defenders have to play one-on-one. But we weren't surprised with the tactics. Now the question is if we could answer to those tactics. Those are the individual mistakes, but all in all, we're going forward. Are there any questions? Yes? Hello, Mr. Milojevic. I suppose it's not very easy after a game such like this, but what I would like to know is what teachings can you actually get from a match like this? Because Barcelona and the quality of the players is underlying certain segments that can be useful in next matches. I would like to say a bit more about what we can learn from a game such as this. I'm going to tell you my opinion that in this moment I've seen wonderful players that are even better than the last Champions League. And a defeat such as this is very difficult. And before in the Champions League, the the points were won through a bit of a tactic. But now, when you play Champions League through the qualifications, you can always say, before seeing the group, you can say that you're going to have one opponent that maybe you can actually go forward. On the other hand, we need to learn, we need to take into consideration what Champions League is, what kind of competition it is. And there is I'm not saying we're a complete team, but we have certain disadvantages. 2 or 3 players have great effect on our game. I talked to Hans before the press conference about the mixed zone. And he honestly said that we prepared the game very well, that the atmosphere was amazing. I don't know what he said at the conference. He said that he's thrilled with the atmosphere. But I said that we're missing key players in key positions that affect the whole game. I'm not going to say, I don't want to say that they're just players as players. But we have an amazing players that we are missing, the amazing players that are actually going to affect the game. Those are certain things that we have to learn from the Champions League, and I hope that after the break, we're going to have our players back. We're going to keep fighting. And it's sure that for a club such as Red Star, we have to be honest. You have to spend a lot of money to be in the competition, to be competent, and not just having 2 or 3 players, but having the whole team that's going to be amazing. From Mundo, you mentioned some games that were missing. How much the lineup would be different if all the players are capable and none of them is injured? I'm sure there are more options if none of the players are injured. If we try to play in one lineup against Benfica, and then another lineup against Bode, and then we used another lineup for Inter and Monaco. Today we tried 4-3-3 formation to see how we could get the best out of it. But when you have the players, you have more options when none of the players are injured. And in certain positions, we're not having very good solutions. I can place any player in the position. I'm very happy with what we did. But obviously, we have, in the Champions League, it's very important to have the speed, the resistance, resilience. Unfortunately, we don't have them. I'm not complaining. I just said it. But maybe in the domestic championship, it's not very visible. But in the Champions League, it's a great handicap. And the second question has to do with the second goal of Barcelona, because again, we're seeing it at the end of the first half of the match, and that's something that was happening a lot of times in this season and in the previous matches. I can't make any comment about that. I'm really sorry about that. But the game is played until we hear the end. But what can I say? Yes? I'm from Sportal, Stefan Abramovic. You said you were talking about the new format of Champions League, and Red Star received the most goals from all the teams. What can we do to change that? Again, I'm gonna go back to the fact that we have a problem that we have, and we're playing against teams that are better than us. It's not. I'm not ashamed to say that. We played with five teams that are the best five teams, the five league. They're the leaders in their domestic championships. And that's something that is worrisome. What can we do? We can't do anything. We need to train. We need to give our best. We need to try to play more. There's not any wisdom that we can actually find there. I'm hoping that we're going to have more players back, that we're going to be able to be stronger, and that's it. At this moment, we can't do much more. Radomir Djuric from Maxbert Sport. In the 4 games, you have 0 points. You have 4 games ahead. And 24 teams are going to pass forward. Are you still hoping that you can enter those 24 teams? I'm not sure what you're expecting for me to say. If I wasn't hopeful, I would say let's not play the games. Of course, I'm hopeful. I'm a football player. I'm an athlete. I need to believe in my players. I need to believe that we're going to give our best. I don't see a point in making an observation like this. We're going to play the next 4 games. We're going to learn from this. We're going to prepare. The next game is at home. I think it's Stuttgart. We're having an amazing team from a German championship. And when we're talking about the format of Champions League, I don't know what you as a journalist would say about the format. What do you think about the format of the Champions League, you as a journalist? I'm going to be the journalist now and ask some questions. What do you think? What do you see? I'm going to tell you what I see, what I observe. That if you're in the fourth selection, it's very important to see with which teams you're going to play. And then you're going to see, because it's not the same if you're going to play with Barcelona at home or away. It's not the same if you're going to play with Slovana from Bratislava, if you're going to play at home or away. This format is very important for us smaller teams. It's not such an important thing for big teams. Again, that's my impression. I wanted to see why is it like it. But that's my opinion, my observation, and I think it's very important to see who you're gonna get at the sorting, because that's why the new format, it's very difficult. But because here you're fighting for every point, and many times I said that the teams who win the first 3 matches, they have 9 points, and many times they are resting the players because of the domestic championship. But you saw Barcelona today was complete. So it's a very difficult format and a very difficult Champions League. It doesn't have to do anything with the previous Champions Leagues, if you agree. Dari, you're not agreeing. Thank God that you agree for some time. Since you answered, I'm gonna reframe my question. Of course, I know that you're expecting points in the 4 matches ahead, but which match do you think would give the best hope? Every game is very important, and if we're going to think about and talk about Champions League, we have to think about the first opponent, which is Stuttgart. We can't make a lot of calculations there. We have 12 points left. I believe, and I'm gonna keep being an optimist. And if you ask me why I'm an optimist, because I'm an athlete. Athletes need to believe, need to be optimistic, and the only thing we have, me and my colleagues and my players, is to train and to do our best. We're gonna learn as much as we can from all this, because the next game is ahead, and we're gonna keep fighting till the end because of us, because of the shirt we're wearing, because of our club, and what's going to be, we're gonna see. Dusan Djukanovic from TV Sport. Here today at the game of the cadets, we had a very nice move of Panenko. Do you see Kostov in the team as Andrija Maksimovic, or you could find any other cadet that could join the first team? Because Panikov scored the goal, not because of only because of that, but because he's playing very well lately. Well, if he plays very well, he's gonna enter the first team. If he plays well, not. We're not gonna talk about names. We have a lot of new players, young players. I watched the game. They played a good game. And they can learn a lot from at this level. And they're still learning. That's the phase they're in. And there are a lot of interesting players that are, I'm sure, are going to come with us and train with us from, but I don't want to mention the names, but we're following them, we're observing them, and they're knocking at the door of the first team. They should follow the team of Andrea, to believe, to listen to their managers and trainers, and I will expect their chance. Hello. We saw that this football that plays Barcelona is from the 22nd century. If the experience from the first half can actually help you transfer that to the match with Stuttgart. I said you have to take risks. What does it mean to take risks? Against Inter, we wanted to control the game, even though we played in Milan, because you need to play. You need to play against the players like this, and not being able to keep the possession of the ball. You need to answer, and you need to change the game. That was our plan in Milan too. But we received we received 3 goals. We conceded 3 goals, and the mistake that happened with Rade. But you need to play under pressure, and that's something that we wanted to get to in the first half. We try to have a lot of players that are strong, to have that combination and to take advantage of it. But we're going to see how Stuttgart plays. We're expecting a game with high pressure, but more or less the football today is like that. All the teams, like you said, and I completely agree, this is a football of a 22nd century. If whenever I think that maybe football is not advancing, we see a team as Barcelona. But everything is absolutely perfect, from the speed, accuracy, power, confidence, realization. They really are amazing. We have time for only one question more. What's the situation with the goalkeeper Ilic? Should we be worried? And if you prefer the old format comparing to the new format of the Champions League, to the teams that are lower on the standings, the older format is easier. That's true, for sure, because in the new format, everything depends on the teams you're playing with. We're gonna see it for the first time this year, and that's gonna be continuing next year. But we're gonna see what's the number of points that you need to enter the first eight or the second eight. But when you have teams that are big, it's easier to win at home with the teams that are at the same level as you are. Before it was a goal on the road and different kind of points. But if you ask me, for me as a manager, the most important thing is that football advances and for it to be interesting. Because football, we play it for the audience. We're just here to help the audience enjoy. And I would like to say that this new format of the Champions League, even though it's difficult, it's very interesting. I think that we're gonna have problems with him. We're gonna see tomorrow, but I think that he is gonna go to the CAT scan tomorrow. I'm not sure how ready he's gonna be for the next match, but the good thing is that we're gonna have a 2 weeks break that is going to help us with the injured players. And I think that we're going to have more players after the break. And I think that Micha Ivanic is going to be joining us, that Bimovic is going to be joining us, and I think that Duarte is also going to be okay, and Radonic. We're expecting Glazer after the break. Those are the things that make me happy. And what not going to have is with the players that are going to play for their representations, and we hope that they're going to come back healthy and we can continue. That would be everything for tonight. Thank you very much.